We're travelling by train from London to Torremolinos, and for reasons that will become apparent, it's going to take us a week and a half. But the first leg of the trip is from London St Pancras to Lille by Eurostar.
London St Pancras is a fabulous station with some amazing Gothic architecture. Give yourself plenty of time to get through security, but once through, the waiting area is pretty cramped and lacks enough seating for everyone. Then there's the boarding bun fight getting up to the platform and onto the train. But once on board, it all gets a bit more relaxed, and pretty soon we're off through the Kent countryside. We travelled Standard Plus, which gets you an aircraft-style meal plus tea or coffee in a slightly larger seat. The train whizzes you very smoothly through the Channel Tunnel and comes out in France near Calais. In less than an hour and a half from London, you're in Lille Europe station, which is close to the town centre.
We've arrived in Lille Europe station and we're staying in the copper-clad Crown Plaza Hotel behind me. I've got a special connection with Lille because I was an Erasmus student here many years ago, and you can find out a bit more about that in a separate video. We're going to have a look around town now, and then tomorrow we're heading off to Montpellier.
The Grand Place is the square in the heart of Lille. The old stock exchange has some very interesting market stalls selling second-hand books and pop art. Lille's a surprisingly interesting town. After a good look round, it's time for some dinner, but disaster. Sadly, our favourite pizzeria and creperie no longer does pizza, but they still do savoury and sweet crepes, excellent French cider and nice local beer.
Nice.
Later on, we had a nightcap in Privilege, a local gay bar where we watched a show. After a final look round, we head back to our hotel. The Crown Plaza is right next to the station, which is very handy, if a little expensive, but a pleasant and convenient place to stay. Our rate included a superb buffet breakfast, which set us up for the long train journey ahead. We went second class on a TGV train from Lille Europe to Montpellier Sud de France, which is scheduled to take 4 hours 50 minutes. Lille Europe is where most of the trains go from, including the Eurostar. The TGV arrives into the station from Brussels, and after Lille it goes around the outskirts of Paris before heading to the south of France via Lyon. Montpellier Sud de France station is located in the outskirts of town, a good 15-minute taxi ride away from the centre. As an alternative, we could have changed train in Lyon and arrived in Montpellier Saint-Roch, which is much more central. Today we've travelled from Lille on the Belgian border to Montpellier on the Mediterranean coast. It took 5 hours by TGV train, but it was very comfortable, and the only problem was that the coffee machine was broken, so I couldn't have a coffee. We're staying in a hotel in Montpellier, and now we're going to have a look around the town. After a look round Montpellier, we hunt out a great craft beer brew pub called Hopulus.
Not far between brewery and glass.
Then onto a nice bar that does decent food. In the morning we pick up a short taxi to Lappe to pick up a canal boat for a week. You can follow that trip in another video as we sail through the Camargue, the Étang de Tau Lagoon, up the Canal du Midi and onto Argonne-Minevois to the north of Narbonne. Narbonne is the next railway station on the main line after Montpellier, heading towards Spain. So it's a week later and we've finished our boat trip, and you can see the video for that separately. And now we're heading to Spain. First stop, Madrid. These can be French or Spanish trains, but today's ours was a Spanish train operated by Renfe. Narbonne to Madrid takes about 5 hours 12 minutes. Today we travelled in first class, which was okay, but someone was sitting in our seat when we arrived, and this caused ill feeling when we asked them to move into their seat. I'm not sure why people do that when they have an allocated seat. There was no food included with our ticket on this train, but there was a buffet car. Travelling by train is a great way to see the varied French landscapes. After Narbonne, the train goes along the Mediterranean coast next to the lagoons and marshes, with the mountains in the background, through Perpignan, and then before you know it, into Spain near Figueres. At the time of travelling, you still had to wear face masks on board in Spain, although not in France. You should book online if you can, because there are often big queues in the stations for tickets, and with allocated seating they do sell out. There are stunning views of the Spanish coast and hills from the train. The train makes its way through Barcelona and then Tarragona before leaving the coast and heading inland through Zaragoza, ending up in Puerta de Atocha station in the centre of Madrid. You have to choose how long you give yourself for the change in Madrid. We gave ourselves an hour and 50 minutes, which is a long wait, but it meant we didn't worry as much when the train to Madrid got slightly delayed.
We've arrived in Madrid and we're just waiting in the gardens before we get our train to Malaga.
Madrid Puerta de Atocha to Málaga Maria Zambrana only took 2 hours and 35 minutes on a fast AVE train. We went second class, but this was still very comfortable and maybe even nicer than the previous first class service. It's a smooth ride as we travel down through Córdoba and onto Malaga. Although we stopped for a week's canal boating, you can see it's possible to get from London to the Costa del Sol in 2 days with a single overnight stay, but you might find it nicer to visit a few different places along the way. It's a calmer way to travel than the plane if you have the time, although it can be more expensive. With the changes, it took us 9 hours from Narbonne to Torremolinos, and the whole train journey was about 15 hours on the train. After a 15-hour-long train journey, we've arrived at Malaga, and now we've just got the local train to Torremolinos. And the local train takes about 20 minutes. And finally, after 9 hours, we're at the new Torremolinos station. I hope you found this useful. Don't forget to subscribe and join us for our next adventure.